Hello, everyone. So this is Moonlight Soul and Grow in the Flow. And we got together again with the stars and cards to talk about the full moon in Aquarius. So this is probably going to be a regular occurrence because we enjoy working together and it seems that people enjoy listening to us. So we got together for a full moon in Aquarius. And both of myself and Marisa here, we are Aquarius rising. So this is energy that is very familiar to us. So Marisa, what would you like to say about this full moon in Aquarius?
Yeah, I'm excited. This is such a big month. We've been talking about it. And I was telling you how yesterday I was sort of connecting the breadcrumbs that this is my birthday month and that I was born under the full moon in Aquarius as well. So it's really feeling significant for me personally. And as I'm tuning into the energies for this month, really highlighting the fact that this month is special because it begins and ends with full moons, right? So we have August 1st kicking off with this full moon in Aquarius and the 30th of August wrapping up with a blue moon in Pisces. So definitely feeling very significant for endings, releasing, letting go, and getting into the new.
Yeah, and in between we have the new moon in Leo, and there's just 1 week after your birthday. So the month of celebration, a lot of culminations, a lot of new beginnings for sure. Yeah, and it's just this energy, like, I know we talk every day, so how is it showing up for us? But it's just been crazy with these 3 squares between Pluto and the nodes, and we had the square between Mercury and Uranus. I just did a video on YouTube today, so I know what is going on with the astrology, and it's this build up towards this full moon in Aquarius, because we were just chatting before I press record about the new moon in Aquarius, which took place on January 21st, and that was on 1 degree, and I see these significant 29s and 1s and 0s, you know, these new beginnings and endings. And yeah, the new moon in Aquarius was on 1 degree of Aquarius, and now we have a full moon in Aquarius on the first day of August. So there is definitely a lot of breadcrumbs there for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm even like, so the number 8 is coming up a lot as well. Of course, coming into the 8th month, and some of the energies that I'm getting ready to tune into for my empowerment pack full moon reading is bringing out the strength card of the tarot, number 8, and the star card, which is 17. And so both of them carry the vibration of 8. And that is because the strength is the Leo card and the star is, of course, Aquarius. So I'm starting to really feel that energy of abundance and all of the high vibration of 8. And of course, the 8-8 Lions Gate, we have, I mean, there's just, which is my birthday. So that's, like I said, I'm just like over here really excited to see how it unfolds, and definitely noticing the number of patterns as well.
For sure, and I think it also might give us some prelude for the year 8, which we are entering from January, because we are in the year 7. So I really feel this 8-8 gate and all these 8s, because of course we are in the year 7. 1st of August comes to 9, 9 and 7, that's 16. But how did I count it? I thought it was 8. Because
No, you're right. This is a 7 year. So we're in the year of the chariot. 2023 adds up to a 7. So 2024 will add up to an 8. And so next year, the overarching energy will be the strength card, which is amazing because as we are readying our chariots and getting balance of light and shadow and all of these aspects to roll forward into the new, we are brought back to ourselves in the energy of the 8 and the strength card. As we were saying, this Leo energy sandwiched in the middle of this month is about, you know, taming the beast within and having this true healing. And of course, that involves connecting in with our inner child, with the wounding and all the things that we talked about in our last chat, in order to move and shine outward into the world forward in that energy of strength. So that's why, because because next year will be an 8. This is a 7. Next year is 8. So we'll have the strength energy coming in.
And I was just calculating because it's the 8 months and it's the number 1, and then it's the year 7. So that's already coming to 8-8, which is 16, and it's 7, which is like the energy of a teacher, isn't it? Isn't 7 Hierophant in Major Arcana?
Hierophant is 5. 7
What is
is the
number
chariot.
7? Chariot.
The chariot.
Oh yeah, because we are in the year 7.
Yeah, but see how it's very sequential though, because we are moving now from the 7th month, which also Cancer is the sign of the chariot. And now we are moving into the 8th month with strength as the sign of Leo. And so, yeah, as you do all your numbers, even the 16, 1 + 6 is 7, we'll be rounding out and ending this 7-year and moving into the new. So yeah, it's always cool to see how it all connects.
And then the 8 is 16, that's 7, and we are in the year 7, so that's 14, and that's 5 again. So again, we have the number 5, the number of change on the 8. So I really feel that this month is a huge month because it's about full moon in Aquarius, which is very important because we are in the age of Aquarius, and Uranus, the modern ruler of Aquarius, will become the ruler to Pluto when Pluto will be transiting through the sign of Aquarius for the next 20 years. And apart from that, it's also about the liberation, individuation, about freedom. Leo is about authenticity, about creative self-actualization. And at the end of the month, we'll have the full moon in Pisces. And that's all about culminations and new beginnings. So I really feel that this month is so important. And again, we had the 2 new moons in Aries. I don't know when it happens. We have 3 moons in 1 month. Like, you know, we have all these odalities this year, which are not something that we experience all the time.
Once in a blue moon, as they say. So yes, yeah, it's not that often, but yet here we are. This year just does seem very significant. So yeah, I'm gonna pull up our cards because I've been sort of tuning in as you have and just bringing in the energies of this moon. And of course, the other thing is it's a super moon. That's what this is saying. So being that it is so close to the earth and it's shining so big and bright, it's something that we can't not see. So it's really out there for us to see the new that's coming in. But first we culminate and end this chapter that we are closing in order to turn the page into the new. So yeah.
Yeah,
so
actually,
go ahead.
today, I just want to mention that today, as we're recording this, we have the Venus-Mercury conjunction. And conjunction is again about culminating and starting a new phase, because conjunction is like a closing balsamic phase. And then when the planet, like in this case, when Mercury gets ahead of Venus, it will be a new phase. So again, that's another significance because Venus is the ruler of the South Node now, because South Node is in Libra, and we know Pluto has been squaring the nodes. And this week we have the 3 exact squares, one after the other. We had the first one on the 23rd and 25th, and the last one is tomorrow on the 28th. So today, during this conjunction, there is again this new and old, because Mercury currently is the ruler of Mars, the ruler of the North Node. So it's like the ruler of the South Node and the planet that is associated with the ruler of the North Node are getting together to prepare us again for this full moon in Aquarius. So I feel again all this build up. It feels like there is always this build up, and then is the moon, and then is like a little bit of a, you know, like a readjustment, and then again build up. So again, now we are in this phase of a build up towards this full moon in Aquarius, and I just feel that this is going to be huge full moon for sure, because it's Aquarius, it comes with the bang.
Yeah, it does. It feels really significant, and opportunities for healing and opportunities for really closing things out. You know, like we say, like, oh, it's a full moon, release, shed, forgive. But, you know, we've been talking a lot about this turning the page, you know, the ending of chapters and turning the page, or rewriting stories, or, you know, stepping into the new. And so there's just this real feeling of culmination. And then the other thing too is authenticity. I know the theme that's coming up here in these cards has to do with be real. So be real, and also show the world the real you. So there's this, you know, again, undeniable super moon in our face. Like, it's time to really step into the real you and to be authentic and to shed and release all of those layers that are no longer serving you, that did at a time, or those are identities that you held that you can now release with love, you know, so that you can step into this new. So definitely feeling that big energy of bringing in authenticity. I love it. And it does say emotions run high in a super moon, because of course everything's amplified. Everything that's going on is amplified in a super moon. So, you know, that's not to say that it isn't without its feels.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
for sure. Yeah. But I think that, yeah.
Even though Aquarius is like aloof and detached and
Mm-hmm.
objective, but everything else that we had going on, and now with the South Node in Libra and Venus going retrograde in Leo, I think it's unavoidable that people feel a lot of things, because there are all sorts of relationship themes going on. And we know, like in my environment, in your environment, people are breaking, waking. What did you say last time with Jimmy's quote?
Yeah, breakups, makeups, shakeups, and wake-ups.
Yeah, that's literally, it's already happening. And we had
Yeah.
the South Node in Libra only for, you know, what, 10 days, and it's already happening. It's crazy. And this is just the beginning, because we're going to have this going on for next 18 months. So yeah, for sure, with this everything pointing to this new direction, and Aquarius is like, you have to individuate, you have to be authentic, and then you're going to find these people that will accept you for who you are. But first we have to accept ourselves for who we are. So that's why with this new moon in Leo, it's all about authenticity. So it's interesting how it's all piled up on the top of each other.
Yeah, it really is. And like I said, we can't, it's undeniable with this. It's in your face. It's here. It's happening. And it's always, I think it's fun to see how it plays out for everybody, you know, and I think that maybe is the aloof part of it. It's aloof, but detached, observing. I'm, you know, stepping back and saying like, okay, wow, how is this going to play out for me? You know, how is it going to play out for you? What is it going to look like, you know, in each of our little microcosms? And then that's all creating this momentum that culminates into, you know, where we are all headed. So I love that energy. I'm looking at my cards and I'm thinking I'm going to pull a Queen of the Moon Oracle card just to sort of set our, you know, wanting to inquire on the overarching energy with this full moon and what is there for us to know collectively as we tune in here. See what this says to go with all of these intuitive hits we're getting. Ooh, the Power just winked at me, and I believe that might even be the supermoon card.
Yeah, that comes quite often for us.
Yeah, I think the Power card is the supermoon, so that did just wink. But let's see what's coming up as our one card here. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I was saying that the Power card was the cover girl, but it's not. This is
Sovereign.
That sovereignty. So yeah, stand in your power and sovereignty, right? And let's see, this is
number
card
5.
It's 41. It's a 5. Yes. So change, freedom, you know, expression. I love it. It's the rebel energy, but it's the like unapologetically who I am. And it's right. She's holding it at the solar plexus, you know, just really not just affirmative, just yep. Here I am.
Oh
and
my
so
God.
definitely feeling that energy come in. I'm going to pull a second one because I just want to see what goes with that, because
I'm literally like getting goosebumps because you can't get anything more perfect from full moon in Aquarius than this card. Like literally,
I know.
it completely describes what's going on here.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's why I just want to see what's going with that, because it's so funny that Power winked at me and then here it comes. Let's see. Oh, this one's sticking up. Ooh, I like this one too. This is focus. Wow. Tell me what, Mila.
It's 14.
It sure is. Yes, it is. Now I have goosebumps.
Wow. And isn't that perfect? That looks just like the full moon in Pisces to me.
Yes. Oh my God.
The beginning and the end of the month.
Yes, this is amazing. I have goosebumps. Okay.
Yeah, me too, all over. Yeah,
wow.
this is crazy.
Wow. Yeah. So we have the crown and we have this beautiful third eye butterfly opening symbol of expansion and transformation and connection here. And yeah, Pisces, water, emotion. I'm literally up to my eyeballs in feels, but I am totally in my zone, right? I'm totally connecting within. So I'm harnessing that power of the aloofness or the ability to detach and observe and be aware that I am up to my eyeballs in water. Ooh, my ear is ringing. But I am connecting in with my wise self, my intuition. It's focus, which the funny thing is this card actually came up in July for the full moon in Capricorn. When I did the empowerment pack reading, this was the overarching energy, and I channeled through, you know, where my focus goes, energy flows. So that was the mantra of the full moon in Capricorn that was about us really channeling What are you focusing on? We've been talking about this every time we get together. The garden, we don't feed the weeds. We're not worried about what's going on over there in their garden. How did it get like that, right? My focus is right here, right? I love it. That's so
perfect.
Yeah.
That's so
You
perfect.
called it with the vibes.
And I'm just looking at the chart, and actually there will be a square from Jupiter, and Jupiter is still within the conjunction with Uranus. So Uranus is the ruler of this full moon because it's in Aquarius, and actually it's not directly being squared by Uranus because of it's not within the degree orb, because this full moon is happening on 9 degrees and 16 minutes. But and that's 9 and 16, 7. 9 and 7 is 9 and 7 is 16, right? Yes.
Yeah.
And that's again 7.
I'm English and writing, not math.
Yeah, that's again number 7. That's again the chariot, so it's crazy.
Yeah.
But literally the square that's coming to this moon is from Jupiter, and Jupiter is in culminating phase with Uranus, which is exactly what you just said. What are we feeding? What are the belief system that we are feeding? Because Jupiter is going through the sign of Taurus. So what is the truth about you? Because Jupiter expands everything it touches. So people think like, oh yeah, Jupiter is coming into my sign, it's all gonna be perfect, money's gonna fall from the sky, and people think when Jupiter is in Taurus, and it's like if they got good planets there, or if they got Venus in, associated with Jupiter, they think like everything's just gonna fall from the sky. But Jupiter touches, it expands everything it touches. So whatever we believe, it's gonna expand that. So if we have this limited belief system, then it's gonna expand that. And Jupiter is going to have the conjunction with Uranus next year in April, right after the eclipses. And that's like, again, what is the truth that we need to break out of? Like, to me, Uranus is kind of like the tower moment, isn't it? Like, something can just happen unexpectedly, that it like completely like shakes you up, and it turns your life upside down and all that. And then at the end, when everything settles, you go like, oh, actually, it's good that these things are gone. So to me, it's very interesting that it's Jupiter, and that is conjuncting Uranus, that is squaring this full moon in Aquarius, because it's all about what we believe. Because whatever we believe, we manifest. So is with this combination towards sovereignty and freedom, do we believe we can? Because Jupiter in Taurus is asking us, do you believe in yourself that you have what you need to create whatever you want? So it's crazy. It's really interesting to me.
Wow. It's big. It's amplified. It's definitely there. I can't believe those 2 5s came up. You called it.
The number of change, and then we have all these 7s, which is the number of chariot. Like, there is choice to be made: the white horse or the black horse, whichever one you choose.
Yeah. And again, where your focus goes, energy flows. So if I'm focusing on lack, if I'm focusing on, what I don't have, or my inability, or I'm limitations, then that's what's being amplified. And sure enough, that's what the universe will in turn respond. So, and likewise, we're releasing that, letting go of any of those limiting beliefs, so that we are able to bring our focus into here, which starts with the sovereignty, which also with the tower energy that you mentioned, it's like all of those parts of the foundation that are crumbling, they're no longer supporting the structure, have to fall. And so, yes, it ends up, in hindsight, ends up being a good thing. It's a necessary thing. And it's about reinforcing, rebuilding, replacing, again, with the re's, anything that is needed to, like, if you think about, I always say with the chariot, it's like getting ready for your journey. So you make sure that the oil is changed in the car, that the tires are rotated, that you have a full tank of gas, so that you are ready to have this journey forward. You're not taking out the old jalopy that's like hanging off by so there's this energy of readying, and in so doing, we have to shed and release. Get the junk out of the trunk.
This is so interesting to me, because when we had the new moon in Aquarius, what I was just telling you before we started recording, the new moon, Pluto was culminating, because Pluto at the time was just before Pluto moved into the sign of Aquarius for the first time, actually 2 months before. But Pluto was in a closing phase, so balsamic phase conjunction with the new moon in Aquarius, and Pluto was in Capricorn, but still going direct. And at the time, Saturn was still in a sign of Aquarius. So Saturn was still like helping helping us to understand what is outdated now, what part of the structures are outdated. So again, we were talking about how everything got concepted, you know, all these changes during the eclipse season, but now we actually starting to understand that it happened maybe even before, during the new moon in Aquarius, because we had all this energy of culminating, like already the universe was poking us that this is the beginning of the end, guys. You know, there you got Pluto culminating to the new moon, and Saturn in Aquarius, and currently Saturn is in Pisces, and Pluto is retrograde. And actually, as of yesterday, it will be on 28 degrees, not 29 anymore, but still we're going like backwards, because we want to make sure that whichever we are acknowledging that no longer is working for us, that is really gone, is really dead. And then we have to find the new ways to actualize in a way that would make us feel empowered. Like, in a sense, it's scary, but on the other hand, I always say to my clients, well, when everything is gone and you have a plain canvas, empty canvas, you can paint anything you want on it. So in a sense, it's liberating. Like, yes, everything is gone, so like, oh, my things, and you know, all this stuff. But if everything is gone and you weren't particularly happy with your life until this point, then you can change it. You can create whatever you want. So I feel that also this is the energy that might be wanting to stream through, especially maybe for the upcoming new moon in Leo. But, you know, the square is from Jupiter. What do you believe? Do you believe you can or you can't? So it's interesting.
That's truly empowering. So when it feels like something ends or something is taken from you or something collapses, that's disempowering. It feels like I didn't have any choice in the matter. But if I look at it as it actually leveled the playing field, it actually cleared and wiped the slate clean, fresh canvas, now I'm in the driver's seat, empowered, because I've got the brush. I get to decide, what am I going to focus on? And I'm going to paint that moving forward. So that's where we get to that place of gratitude. Thank you, Tower Moment. Thank you for leveling and clearing, so that I am now empowered to paint the new, to see where to from here, and have that action from the driver's seat.
I'll be laughing if Tower came out.
I know, I was thinking that too. However, it's a seven of cups. Choose wisely, choose wisely. But I love this. This is also speaking to this pause, this time he's not moving. He's at the end of the dock, right? So he's at the end, sitting there looking forward, and there's all these different directions to go. And choose wisely. Where my focus goes, energy flows. So where am I going to focus my energy? And it's funny, this is the Psychic Tarot again. And as I looked at this card before, I noticed the different hand signals. I don't know what they mean, if anybody knows, but it's interesting, because they might even all just be little clues to, even if I just look from the most basic, like that fist, right? The one fist here. Again, we talked about when I'm tight, closed, control, I can't pick up the new, you know, I can't grab on and take all this with me to go there, because then I can't pick up anything new. There's this tension in that. So even if I just read into it intuitively about what maybe each of those hand signals mean, but I just think it's cool because, you know, 7 of Cups, this came up last time because we were chatting. I told you about the nature center box where you have to stick your hand in and you really don't know what's in there.
Oh, yeah.
It could be a pine cone. And it's like, again, going within, feeling our way. And that's what the water aspect of the cups is about. It's about feeling our way. She's using her gut. She's using her intuition. This isn't a logical thing. It's not happening in the head. It's happening within. And so 7 energy, again, lighting the way forward.
That's what I mean. It's just crazy. And I know that this card came up a lot of when we did our personal readings and stuff, for even you did it for me. And I know I have a lot of choices to make in my life, and I'm sure that so do other people, because when things are being taken away or coming to the close, as we are experiencing a lot right now, then there is a space for something new, and then there are all these new opportunities that we can choose from. But you know, with all these retrograde planets, is all there is, as you mentioned, reevaluating, reassessing, and all that, like going over things. And now if we have this opportunity to make a new choice, do we want to like do we want to go for the same thing, or do we want to choose something completely different? So I feel with this 7 of Cups card, it's like literally, well, you have all these options to choose from. Are you going to go for the same old thing, or do you actually want something different, even though you don't know what is in that jar, you know, what is in that thing when you put your hand in there?
Yeah, and it's just those words, choose wisely. So we're choosing from a place of wisdom, which is something that I know this deck beautifully highlights, between the difference between wisdom and knowledge. You know, knowledge, I can know a thing, I can read a book and I learned something. But wisdom is something that's gleaned over time through experience, and again, very intuitive and connected in with your wise self. So choose wisely also speaks about the place from which you're making this choice. You're not making it out of desperation or anything that falls flat, that's false. It's like really going within. And even the funny thing is, you know, our hermit that kept coming up,
Yes.
I had pointed out in the one hermit, Seek, had those two birds overhead. Similar energy, actually, because, you know, the Seek card, they're sitting there in this meditative position, just like this, and there's two birds overhead. So again, it's this trajectory, this flight plan, you know, spreading your wings and where to, and really feeling into that again from this wise place. And yeah, I just want to
I really just want to mention, because I just made a video today, so it's fresh in my mind, that when tomorrow, just before Pluto makes the last exact square to the nodes, Mercury will make a trine to the North Node, because Mercury is just about to move into the sign of Virgo, and it will trine the North Node. So Mercury now conjuncted Venus today as we speak. It pass on the information between each other to do with the past and the past, and, you know, South Node and the upcoming future, whatever. But what I really want to bring into attention is that, isn't that interesting that during the full moon in Aquarius, Mercury will be in Virgo, and Virgo is all about discernment. So this is what I try to explain today in my video. Mercury in Gemini, it's in its rulership, but it's like gathering all this information, you know, like all this information, all this knowledge. But when Mercury is in Virgo, is discerning. Is this relevant to me? Does this matter to me? Is this taking me somewhere? And Mars is still in a sign of Virgo, and Mars is the ruler of the North Node, so we're paying close attention to Mars. And North Node is about a new direction, Aries. So Mercury now moving into the sign of Virgo tomorrow night. And so by the time we have this full moon, Mercury will be in a sign of Virgo. And Mars is saying that, well, we have to discern, we have to choose what is right for us, what we want to take with us into this new direction. And for that, information is not enough. We have to discern, we have to use our wisdom.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it literally says choose wisely. And also with that, not from an anxious place or feeling the pressure of like, oh, I have to choose right, or it's gonna, you know, because ultimately, wherever we go, there will be learning, there will be growth, there will be healing of some kind. It's, you know, in the Chariot, which route am I going to take? Am I going to go the long way, the scenic route? Am I going on the highway? You know, it's really the symbolism of just being in the driver's seat to choose wisely, you know, ideally.
That speaks to me so much about the opposition, because Mercury, obviously in Virgo, will be in opposition with Saturn retrograde in Pisces. And that's exactly what it's saying. You know, Saturn in Pisces is dissolving the past conditioning. Mercury is in Virgo. And it's just, that's what I mean. Astrology is so amazing, because it's just giving you the same information from different angle. Like, hey, you know, so we have this information about all this Virgo energy. You have to discern, you have to kind of be like very efficient with your choices and stuff. But then there is this opposition between Mercury and Saturn. So it's saying like, okay, what did you learn in this, you know, again, 180 degrees from, you know, point of conjunction into opposition, just as it is full moon, 180 degrees, the sun and moon are in opposition. So what have we learned in the past, you know, 6 months since the new moon in Aquarius? What have we learned that is part of this past? You know, Saturn was in Aquarius. It was showing us what is outdated, what no longer resonates with us, what we don't want to take with us into this age of Aquarius, because it's restricting, because it's maybe somebody else's truth. Jupiter is squaring this. Is this your truth? And now we have this opposition between Saturn and Mercury, and it's actually saying that, well, are you ready to discern? Because you had this opportunity to learn in past 6 months. So I feel it's like literally every time I look at the charts, it blows my mind. And then I hear you pulling the cards, and the cards are confirming, and it's like, oh my God, it's exactly the same energy.
I love it. I love it. And it just depends on what speaks to you, like how you're able to.
Eight.
So 8, positive movement forward. I love that. 7, 8. Yeah, like it, all of these tools are speaking to us all the time in big ways and small ways and everything in between. And so there's learning everywhere you look, but it's amazing the synchronicity when you can explain this big picture. To me, it's like you just got out the big map. You just got out like this huge map and you're like pinning all the things, like this huge road trip that we're on. And some of us are over here like just dealing in the today, and yet it's all connected and it's all building off of each other. And so through the process of standing in your power and using discernment and choosing wisely, there is positive movement forward, right? And so sometimes that requires a little adjusting our sails, and it's not to say that it isn't without some choppy water, or that we're not going to encounter. One of the other things that I get with these boat and water analogies that we were so much into throughout Cancer season is the wake, and the interconnectedness of everyone being on different boats. We're all in the same ocean, right? We have these different vessels that we're traveling upon with varying degrees of ease or complications. But how it's all interconnected, that I'm affected by that speedboat over there that just went racing by, that creates these waves. And now so we're just like, again, July's channeled words were ride the waves. So it was really all about the residual effects of all of these things that have been coming in. And this is a beautiful energy of through, and I don't know, it's funny because the hand is just like pointing.
This is the way you want to go.
Yeah, like positive movement forward, which, and interestingly, this is the 8 of Pentacles, which traditionally is about hard work and dedication and focus on your craft or really focusing on something. So it is a little bit of head down, hands on. And again, Pentacles is bringing us into the material, like it's bringing it all into reality. It's bringing it into a tangible, something that we can touch. How this is playing out. How does it look and feel in my life? And where to from here with all of that knowledge, that wisdom, that information that I'm gathering through all of this.
Oh my God, the amount of breadcrumbs, I don't even know what to start. They just
Getting it out. She's getting it out.
So first of all, sails and water, sails, air, Aquarius, water, Pisces, beginning and the end of the month. And then I was like, literally the 1st of August, it's like, bringing us like to the second half. I mean, yes, July is like, so it's like until June, we have the first half of the year, and from the July the 2nd, but like the 1st of August is bringing us closer to the 8th year. The 8 months is bringing us closer again, this 8, and 8 is the Saturn energy, isn't it? Like it's this abundance, manifestation, and Saturn is in Pisces. And what does Saturn in Pisces do? It's saying, I can turn the form into formless and formless into form. What do you want me to do? Literally Saturn is Pisces. It's like not like this strict need to have all the logical step-by-step explanation, just like we were talking. And also I was saying that Mercury going through the sign of Leo, which obviously he's going to transfer into Virgo tomorrow night. But while Mercury was going through the sign of Leo, it helped us to maybe connect the two, the left side of the brain, the logical, and the heart, the ego self and the higher self, because they both have a place. They just need to be in alignment, because to survive in this reality, we cannot just be in a fairyland all the time, because we came here to have a human experience. But the 8, Saturn, it's literally about Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn will be in Pisces until 2026. 226 is number 1, is the 10 is the number 1, is the culmination and a new beginning. 10, the end, 1, the beginning. So I really feel like I'm getting goosebumps. Like I really feel that this month is so important. Like literally, this is I feel that this is the most important month of the year. Literally, like yes, we had all this seeding, we had all these eclipses and stuff, and now we're going towards the new eclipse season that will be in October. And nosy, I wanted to know, like, okay, so Mercury is going to move into Virgo. Obviously, Mars is still there. Are they going to conjunct? Because Mercury just conjunct Venus the ruler of the south node. Mercury is the bridge, is the messenger between the two worlds, you know, there is always the duality. And now I was like, okay, is Mercury going to conjunct Mars? When is it going to conjunct Mars? But it's not, because Mercury is going to go retrograde in Virgo, and Mars is going to go into Libra. So actually the conjunction between Mercury and Mars, the ruler of the North Node, will be the day after the eclipse. It will be on October 29th. So isn't that crazy? Like literally that is bringing us closer, you know, like, and that is the culmination. That will be the last eclipse of this 18 months of nodes being in Taurus, Scorpio axis. So the last eclipse of this 18 months period will be on October 28th, and that will be the last lunar eclipse in Taurus, the full moon in Taurus. And the day after, Mercury will conjunct Mars exactly, but already it will be in effect during that eclipse. So again, I feel this is just like mind-blowing, all these new beginnings, endings. We going from, and even looking at this card, 5, change, you know, like all these changes. And then we have year 7, we closing that. We're going to the year 8 soon. So we preparing, we literally, that's why I mean, this is in my opinion, this is the most important month of the year, because we are understanding what the energy that was up till now was bringing us to understand. And now we're going to move into this 8 energy, like, okay, how are we going to make it happen? How are we going to manifest it? Because number 8 is the number of manifestation, abundance, prosperity. And I know, because I'm the life path number 8. So
Infinity. And of course, infinity is that symbol only shows up on certain cards in the tarot. The Strength card being one of them, the Magician card being another, and then the Two of Pentacles, which is about juggling the formed and the formless, right? It's about the material and the immaterial. So this juggling act, this balancing, this adjusting of sails. And also, as you were speaking, as soon as you said that about this month being so important, I just heard pivotal. It's pivotal. It's like pivoting.
Yeah,
it's
goosebumps
like,
again.
each of these, like each of these hand signals being different directions, different points on the scale, or on this, you know, whatever you set on a boat. I don't know, I'm not a sailor, but I know that you set something for where you're going, and so you turn the dial, you know, or it's, you know, it's like this setting the dial that is pivoting, where it's pivotal, you know. And yeah, that is, it just feels so connected. It's amazing, just all of these breadcrumbs coming together.
Yeah, this is huge, because this is Aquarius. We are in an age of Aquarius. Pluto is moving into Aquarius. This is the year where things are going to shift. And I know, even from my experience of talking to my client, for so many people, this is the year when things are changing. You know, people who have been in a career all their lives, being in these important careers, doing well, making a lot of money, and now they just decide, I'm not doing this anymore. It doesn't make me happy. I only did that because my family, everybody in my family did that. And then I had another client who said, like, oh, I'm interested in so many different things, I can't choose. And I'm like, why do you have to choose? Because we were conditioned to believe that you are just one thing, just put you in a box and that's it. That's what you're meant to do for the rest of your life. And obviously, as the soul wants to grow and evolve, we want to try different things. I mean, we only have this short time on planet Earth. So why would we want to just do one thing all life? Like, that's very limiting. So people are really breaking out of that shell. Like, Richie, I can feel this crackling, you know, noise, like when you have this chicken being birthed from the egg, you know, this, like, you can see all these crackles on the eggshell. And that's what I feel is happening for a lot of people right now. Like, literally, the consciousness is breaking free. Like, you did not come here to be this limited slave being told what to do. Like, you came here to do whatever you want, to follow your path of destiny. And that's why I really feel, with this full moon in Aquarius, new moon in Leo, and full moon in Pisces, you cannot make this up, seriously.
No, I just, everything you're saying, as you're saying it, then I get identities like this, you know, you're breaking out of these old identities, or that you have this multi-dimensionality to who you are. And then you say the egg, and of course, from the cards that we pulled this week for our collective energy, this is the 9 of Cups from the Tarot of Oneness. And look at all these golden eggs you have in your nest. And it's like, it's beautiful. This card is beautiful. Those are the feet of the goose, literally looking down at all of these full cups, these golden eggs. They're all golden. Here's this one that's really standing out, but there's this incubation energy of what have we been sitting on, right? What have we been sitting on that is ready to crack open, right? And so, but it's all golden. It's all golden. So it's like you have all of these different aspects of yourself, all of these different facets, all of these different dimensionalities to who you are. It doesn't have to be that one identity in the box, you know, that limits you, but actually there's this expansion 5 energy that comes in to really crack open, right? To really crack open. And yeah, that's amazing. I totally see that.
Yeah. Also, Mercury going through the sign of Leo, because Leo is about our creative self-actualization, our purpose and destiny, and what gives us a sense of joy and play. And also from traditional astrology is, you know, the hobbies, the romance, the dating, the flirting, all these fun things, right? And Mercury going through that sign is saying, well, there are all these multiple things you can enjoy in life. Why would you just restrict yourself to one? Because now Venus is going retrograde. And it's interesting what you were saying about this breaking free out of the identities, because one of my, last videos I called the, like the mistaken identity, the case of mistaken identity, because we've been told who we are, but is that really who we are? And that's why now Venus is going retrograde, because everything that happened prior, to this new moon in Cancer was under Venus being the ruler of the North Node in Taurus. But now she's going retrograde, and now everything is, the North Node is in Aries, so everything is pointing to new direction. So Venus is saying that everything that I thought I wanted and mattered to me was under this old personality, under this old structure, this old, these different placements, and now we have everything has changed. So I feel that a lot of people are going through a process of really rediscovering, is this still what I want? Just because I wanted it 10 years ago and I worked so hard towards it, it doesn't mean that it's still what I want. So a lot of people are coming to the point where actually they giving themselves permission, because with everything that's going on in the world, it's like we understanding the law of impermanence more and more. Like there is this happening, there is that happening, and like life is short. Like, who are we sacrificing it for? Just live to the fullest, whatever that means for you.
Yeah. As you're saying that, that's like a whole new definition of what is meant by breakups, makeups, shakeups, and wake ups, because what you're describing, there can be a degree of depending on, again, what perspective you're holding, what frequency you're in, of like regret, of I can't believe now that I wake up, I've had this shakeup, now I wake up and I'm like, I can't believe that I spent that much time in that job, playing small, doing this thing. Now we're stuck in that energy where allow it to, this breakup with this old version of yourself, to shake up and wake up into the new, and change your focus to where you are headed next in a positive forward direction, right? So make up with, again, this whole Venus in retrograde, how do I relate to relationships, and this relationship with a version of me, an old version of me that played that role, and that it served its time, and that this is actually a gift that I am breaking up with that aspect of self, and I'm waking up to this new potential. And again, not in a regretful way, because it all served to bring us to this place. Reconcile that and be with that, but then allow yourself to use that positive momentum, the wake of that boat rocking to carry you forward. I mean, stop it. And there's so much water, all reflected here. So it's emotional. That's the thing. It sounds so beautiful when we describe it, like, oh, that's the old me. And what was 20 years I spent in that job? I'm going to go do this. But like, yeah, there's real feels about that. And that's the strength energy. The strength is saying, bring in that aspect of yourself. Bring it in and hold it and allow it to heal. And I always say with that, I love that, because the word heal is in more than one way. We're healing, but also you bring like a wild animal to heal, right? We're kind of bringing that part, that wild part of ourself, or that untamed part of ourself to heal, because they're needed too. There's aspects of those old identities that are serving the new, right? Because of all that we learned, the wisdom we gleaned through playing those roles.
Well, that's
Even
exactly
what we don't want. Right.
That's exactly about this discernment, because it doesn't mean that now you're moving towards something different. You're just going to completely reject what was before, because it brought you to this point. So it's not about now I want to wipe away where I came from and I don't want nothing to do with it. It's the point of integration. That's why the full moon is about integration. This will always be part of you. It's like, well, I understand we all come from different, families and stuff, and some people have it easier, some people have it harder, but will always be part of you, that's like literally going in the war with yourself. Like if people try to go, oh yeah, I don't speak to my family, they're awful people, whatever. It's like you're fighting with yourself, because there is an aspect of you that, that is the representation of that. That's where we came from. And that's why the peace has to come within. Like, yes, everything that happened, everyone I came into contact with, it got me to this point. So there is still a certain level of gratitude and appreciation, even though I know that people can get triggered by this, but everything that happened brought me to this point, and there is a reason for why I am where I am right now. So that's why I always feel that, trying to like kind of delete the memory, because I know that, especially when it comes to relationship, oh, I wish I never met that guy, it was such a waste of my time and stuff. But I'm sure there was something that it has given us, it had taught us, if nothing else than just the lesson, right? But there is always something.
You know what that is? Chiron.
Yes, the
right?
Chiron
The wound is where the light enters you, right? So it's about these scars. It's about this, evidence of this thing, that this transgression, this experience, this other lifetime that I lived, or whatever it is, that maybe we can never fully free ourselves of, because we wear it, these scars, these wounds that we carry. But it's all about turning them into a strength. It's all about shining our light through the wounds. So, it's all these aspects that are going on that are all part. It's everybody's putting a little something in the pot, like we're cooking up this big feast, and it's like all these aspects are putting in little seasonings to create this dish.
Yeah, and Venus is trining Chiron 3 times, like while she's in Leo, because she did first time when they were both direct. Now they're gonna do another trine when they're both retrograde, and in another trine while Chiron is still retrograde, but Venus will be direct. And this is very, very profound. This is very important, because again, Chiron is associated with Mars, because Chiron is in Aries. Mars is the ruler of North Node, and eventually, there'll be a conjunction between North Node and Chiron. And it's just, to me, it's just amazing how everything is pointing towards, yes, we're going in this new direction, and there is absolutely a need for it. It's like at this stage, I think it's like it's not even a choice. It's not even a choice. We're going, and that's it. You're going. Like you can just try to pretend you're not going, but we're all going. Yeah, like there is the energy is moving us forward. Like whether we like it ready or not, we're going. But it's this, okay, what do I want to bring with me, and what do I want to give my loving forgiveness and integration to? Because we don't have to all carry it all with us, but we always be part of us. But it's like, like where they say that if we forgive for ourselves, not to someone else. Like to forgive someone is not for them, it's for us, because we don't want to carry that burden. So, as this word forgiveness has been coming out, and that's very Neptunian, forgiveness, and Pisces, it's all about this compassion, and Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So it's this love and then forgiveness, because everything has a beginning and end. So when love ends, then we still, have the compassion and forgiveness. So I don't even know where I'm going with this. It's just kind of popped to me to mention it, because I feel that it's very important aspect of what are we bringing with us into the future. And it's not about rejecting and disowning what was, but healing, integrating it, and then we are freer to move on, There's not the way.
Actually, while we were talking before we recorded, the spray that I sprayed is what I brought in for this full moon. This is what I work with in my Metatron color healing, Archangel Zadkiel, for forgiveness and transmutation. So, and this is the violet ray. So we're bringing in the vibration of forgiveness and transmutation. So to me, it's all a part of that, taking the best and leaving the rest. Mining the gold from it, extracting the gold through all of that. And again, the gift to yourself of forgiveness and transmuting that energy, turning it into something of fuel to move you forward. You know, again, healing and learning through our wounding and through all of the experiences that we've had that inform us to where we're going next and what's coming with us. You know, yeah, this is the energy that I brought in before we started. So I love that that's coming up for you, because that's exactly where we're at, this great opportunity for forgiveness and healing and transmuting. You know, that's the part of it that's so important. But
yeah, because transmuting and transformation, transmutation, that's all this Scorpio and Pluto and then Pisces and Neptune energy.
Yeah.
And Uranus. I think Uranus is the transformation, Pluto is the transmutation, and Pisces is the transcending or something like that. But all these
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, they are all associated with the Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. That's why they are like these outer planets that are impacting us in such a huge way. They are the generational planet, and it's all about this: how we transform, how we transmute what was into something new. Because the butterfly, the metamorphosis process, you're not going to become a caterpillar with wings. It's a completely different animal. It's a completely different species in a sense. So it's a process of transmutation. So Uranus requires transformation. Like, we need to break free, we need to transform. Then Pluto is about the transmutation. You are becoming someone else. Like, it's the death and rebirth, it's the phoenix rising. And then Neptune is all about transcending what was. You're going beyond. Like, it's literally the connection to the source. Like, we are becoming something completely, something that is eternal.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I just pulled this while you were talking, and of course it is this card. So it's the oh, I'm sorry, this is the 9 of Cups. This is the 9 of Pentacles, but we're bringing in the 9 energy.
Yeah.
Because both of them feel like this is potential. This is harvest, material harvest. So this is speaking to all of it coming into materialization, right? It's material harvest of all of the things that we have brought down and made into form. So, and it's a 9, so 7, 8, 9.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. That is like following the path.
So really bringing in all of it in order to, and I'll actually switch these around so that to me they make sense, because I really feel this energy of this 7 of Cups pointing at this 8 of Pentacles, you know, really, really showing that direction. And then through that positive movement comes the material harvest, which of course ultimately is us standing in our power and being authentic and sovereign, because we started here in, like, you know, again, up to my eyeballs in feels and all of this watery energy, and trying to discern and get clear with my wise self, with my butterfly energy, and now moving through this trajectory of wow, just bringing it all into wholeness with that knowledge.
I'm just thinking, because, you know, when we had the new moon in Cancer, and between Cancer and Pisces there is a trine, you know, all this water energy. So it's interesting that, you know, the new moon in Cancer was where everything started really happening. Things started happening, you know, with the nodal shift and everything. And then we're going to have the full moon in Pisces at the end of August. So I'm very curious to see what is going to bring with itself, like what this actual August month is going to unveil to us. Because when we had, you know, the new moon, there were so many in conjunction. So there was all this unseen, like as we discussed previously, that there is a lot we don't know. So we have to wait for things to materialize, because maybe they're still behind the veil. And now it's, you know, with all this coming, all these cards like showing us the step-by-step process, like with this number 5, you know, we had to be shaken up, like things had to kind of be cracked out of the mold. And then is that 7, choose wisely, you know, go for what your heart is telling you. And then the 8, you know, it's gonna take you to abundance. And then the number 9, like that's this, you know, that's where you wanted to go at the first place. So it's just interesting to me, really.
Yeah. I feel like we need a third Queen of the Moon, because we're representing these 3 moons, right? So, and we feel like, so I know this probably comes up left to right for you guys, because I'm seeing it back. That's why I'm going this way, and I'm left-handed, so I always do everything differently. But I'm gonna put that new moon card in the middle, between these 2, to really feel into this energy that we're moving through this month. And, you know, starting with that full moon in Aquarius, and then we have this new moon in Leo. So what more do we need to know from this moon energy piece just winked at me, but let's see what comes forward. New moon in Leo. Number 7, nourishment.
Wow.
Nourishment. Wow, look how beautiful that is. That is like
Oasis.
really, that's like material harvest right there, because it's really bringing in all of the abundance of the fruits. You're just seeing all the fruits, and the water is just pouring down over. That's an egg, actually, right? Can you see that blue egg?
Yeah.
So again, it's like, what is in our nest that we're sitting on that is actually ripe with potential to come into fruition, to come into harvest? I love that. I'm actually going to look up and see what the mantra is for that card, because that's beautiful. I don't see that one often. Nourishment.
Yeah, I haven't seen it before. I've seen the other two, but I never came across the other one.
So the mantra is, I choose to nourish myself. And that's important. That's an important word, with nourishing ourselves right now. And really, again, it's about nourishing mind, body, and spirit, and really attuning our energy into what feels right for us. But it's talking about when you are feeling jealous or envious, that's a sign of what you're actually hungering for. So if you're feeling that pull into other spiritual gardens to see what all is going on over there, or you're falling into comparisonitis or not good enough isms, I don't have enough isms, then that's a clue. That's an indication of what it is that you actually are hungering for, what you're needing, and that's funny, because even some of the things that you and I have been talking about, with like just intuitively knowing what you need to literally eat and nourish yourself with, but, this is a sign of something that your body needs, right? So this is about being in tune with, what are you hungering for? Bring that into mind, body, and spirit, and then having that to be an indicator of what it is that's really a reflection of the most sovereign and authentic version of you. And that egg is just another big egg that we're sitting on, that's ready to crack open.
And I was just, when you said the mind, body, spirit, that's literally it. Mind is the Aquarius, and the lady has the, the third eye, like is the crown chakra, like, that's the engagement, the head. Then the second card we pulled for the new moon in Leo, and is the egg. It's something physical. It's something that we want to create, something that wants to be, birthed, manifested. And the last card for the full moon in Pisces, and it's all water. It's all about, again, the intuition. So even this card, just looking at them, exactly represents mind, body, spirit. Mind, the Aquarius, body, okay, in this case, it will have to be, the Leo, the fire. It's something that we want to manifest, real thing. And then the spirit, definitely Pisces. I mean, spirit is Pisces, the new moon in full moon in Pisces. So it's just perfect.
575, and that is 17.
Number 8.
So it's like all just keeps coming back around to this progression that we're on, and how this is just such a significant part of this year. This everything that we're just coming through in the 7th month into this 8th month, which is so pivotal, and then ultimately bringing us forward into the new year, the 8th year, the energy of abundance, the energy of just manifestation, and all of it. It's just so beautiful.
And you wouldn't believe what is going to happen on the Pisces. Let me just double check, because I don't want to talk porkies. So just before the new moon in Pisces, who's gonna go retrograde? Uranus. So isn't that interesting that we're going to have Uranus going retrograde literally on the day of the full moon in Pisces? Uranus will be retrograde. So it's again like
us into inner rebel and independence and freedom and that type of energy, because
how are we individuating? Like, are we actually individuating? Do people know us for who we really are, or are we putting these hats on? So, the Uranus retrograde, acceleration of individuation process, because any planet that's retrograde has like a flavor of individuation, and Uranus is like double individuation. But Pisces is all about dissolving, letting go, transcending. So again, it's like, what are you learning about yourself that you're not allowing yourself to express yourself freely? Like, where are you not allowing yourself to be authentic and to just be yourself, right? And then this Pisces is saying, don't worry, I got you. You decide what it is that you want to heal and integrate and dissolve, and it will be Virgo season, right? And Virgo is all about healing. So again, it's just like, you know, like I sometimes think like so fast ahead. I'm thinking like, well, what's gonna happen next? I already want to know. And then the stars are like, just slow down. Things have to kind of manifest. So we're giving you all these breadcrumbs, and it's a step-by-step process. And we already feel that the time is completely accelerated. Like, I literally now today, when I was making my video, I had to look on my phone, like, what day is it today? I'm completely losing track of time, days, what day is it? Like, no clue. So this is something that is just going to be more and more present with us. And the stars are still supporting us. Everything is happening step-by-step process. So we're talking about 7s and 8s, and then we have here Uranus retrograde during the Pisces full moon and in Virgo season. So I mean, everything is just connected.
And just all that too, I totally agree. Like, time is just flying. You know, here we're still on our summer break from school, but it's all happening. Once August hits, it's like back to school and all that. You constantly have to be ahead. I just saw Halloween decorations yesterday at the store, you know, like everything is just projecting forward. And yet we know that this energy that we've been in with the Rees has this energy of pausing and stopping, and that especially with all the retrogrades this month, like that is definitely. And so again, rather than feel like frustrated or stalled or spinning our wheels, itching to go, be present in this moment and utilize those energies to really get that clarity so that you are ready for go time, because it's coming, right? With the quickness. But there is also this month, this aspect of the slow down, the pause, the go back over, which is a gift, you know, because we get to kind of double back over and really get clear.
And that's what I mean, you know, like we just want to go, like, you know my situation. I just want to know everything. I want to have my accommodation booked, and I want to know what I'm doing and where I'm going and how many clients I'm going to get. And the universe is just like, well, there is maybe a reason why you don't know. You have to wait to know, you know, because maybe I have a surprise for you, which you don't even have a clue about. So yeah, so it's, and I just wanted to, you know, like, let's just mention Mercury, because we already mentioned Uranus going retrograde. So I'm like, okay, Mercury is also going retrograde in August, guys. So apart from, well, obviously the luminaries don't go retrograde, there is Sun and the Moon, but apart from Jupiter will station retrograde the day Venus will station direct on September 4th, but Mercury will be also stationing retrograde on August 23rd, so only a week after the new moon in Leo. So by the end of August, apart from Jupiter and Mars as the rule of the North Node, all the planets will be going retrograde. So that is the great retrograde, yeah. And then, then obviously Mercury will stop at the middle of September. He doesn't go retrograde for long. And yeah, and then Jupiter will go retrograde and Venus will go direct. So literally, this is exactly the time for us to stop and pause, reevaluate. Yes, we're going forward. We're absolutely going forward, but reevaluate, is this the forward you want? Is this the forward you want? Is this the direction you want? Because we're going. So choose wisely, right? With the hand, which direction?
Choose wisely. And it's like, yeah, it's recalibrating. It's pulling over and taking a moment to assess your route and decide where to from here and how am I going to take this trip. Again, that's the empowerment. I can't control the weather. I can't control the traffic. I can't control the road rage, all the different aspects that are outside of me. I can't control the retrogrades. But I can decide how I'm going to take this trip. And that's where the power lies. So where I focus on that, that's where my energy will flow. And
I was just going to add, and who goes with you? Yes. Because Venus retrograde.
Who's your co-pilot? Who's riding with you? Correct. Who all is in the van with you?
Yeah.
No backseat drivers. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's so true. And again, that's what this pause is for, to go over the breakups and the makeups and all the things, because we're reassessing and really deciding what feels most authentic to us, what really resonates for us for this trip that we're going on.
Wow, absolutely. This is so awesome. And you know, when I'm doing readings for my clients, I get so excited because Like I felt like an alien most of my life, you know, Aquarius rising and all that stuff with my Uranus on my midheaven and all that stuff. But anyway, now I feel that because of this energy, like so many people are waking up and they literally like, I want to be like, I just want to be happy, because you see, it's so funny. Like, I'm just going to share, like, when I was growing up and my parents, you know, very traditional. I was born in Soviet Union during the communism. I mean, you know, I was 5 when it all ended. But anyway, but that was the conditioning, you know, like Eastern Europe. I'm sure a lot of viewers, if they are or have origin from Eastern Europe, is very strict, very like conditioned. There is like very rigid structure of what is right, what is wrong, how you should be, blah, blah, blah. And all my childhood, I remember that my mother always like was trying to make me bad about wanting to do what I want and wanted to take time for myself, for my workout and stuff. And she was like, it's not just about you, you know, like you have to go there and contribute. And, you know, like life is not easy. You just have to choose, you know, something practical and stuff. And I was like, I'm not doing that. You know, I just want to do something that makes me happy. And now at this time and age we're living in right now, more and more people are starting to think that way. That I just want to be happy. Why should I sacrifice who I am for someone else? And I'm so happy because when I observe my clients, I'm like, I just want everybody to be happy, everybody to be free.
That's amazing, because as you were talking, I dropped 2 cards on the floor. So now I'm looking for them so that we can see how crazy and amazing it is. Because what you're describing, the 2 cards that came up, let me find the other one. There we go. Are sacrifice and suffering in silence. So that's an old paradigm. That's an old belief that we have to sacrifice and suffer. It doesn't matter what you want. It's not about you. You know, you put other people's happiness before you and then take pleasure in their happiness, you know, or whatever. You know, there's this energy. It's just funny because I wasn't even like feeling connected to these cards. And then you started talking. And to me, those are the key words of what you just described, because this is actually the Hanged Man, which is what we were just saying about this pause and kind of being stuck here, but allow the light to come in, allow the awareness to come in through the stuckness. But the key word is sacrifice. And that's exactly what you just described, is this idea that the model that we've been operating off of is to sacrifice your own happiness and your own authenticity for the happiness of others, or the appearance of others' happiness. But suffering in silence, which is actually this is the 9 of Swords. So, but this energy of just, yes, out there is this big world that I'm curious about, that I want to explore, and I feel like there must be something better, but no, I just have to stay here and suffer in silence and play small, you know. And you know, as you were saying, it's like we find out that there's more of us out there, and we're finding each other more and more. Why? Because we're standing in our sovereignty. And what that does is it sends out what I call the bat signal, right? Where your focus goes, energy flows. So if I put my focus in being my most authentic self, in speaking my truth, in standing in my sovereignty, that puts out the bat signal. Or like the Care Bears. Do you know the Care Bears?
Yeah, with the hearts and rainbows.
Like the thing on their belly that shoots out whatever, right? So we're all like, assemble, and it's like we're sending out the signal, and it's assembling all of us awakened folk coming together. And so it's beautiful, because then we bring with us all of our unique experiences and conditioning and again, we're not sweeping that under the rug or canceling it out, because that beautiful, unique story of yours is yours. It's about how you got to where you are. And as similar as we are, basically, you and I, our backgrounds, our upbringings, our environments have completely finished the job of shaping our experiences and how we got here and who we are, that we can now come together in the chariot and be driving next to each other, like bringing in our own unique everything, which includes, you know, the wounding, which includes the, you know, I say the good, the bad, and the ugly, all of it. So that's really beautiful.
But to me, it's so amazing that, you know, actually now more and more people are starting to understand, because especially, you know, the older generation, when they observe their parents and how by the end of their lives they were bitter and resentful because they sacrificed so much, and then what about me, like nobody took care of what I want and stuff like that. So now more and more people are starting to actually understand that self-care, self-nurture is not selfish, because when you take care of yourself, you have so much more to give. And, you know, like, what is the point to give if you have nothing to give, and then it just makes you feel empty? And also with this, you know, the tribe thing, you know, the Aquarius tribe thing, and shooting your rainbow and calling your, like a beacon, you know, like a lighthouse, like, hey, here I am, the soul, come and find me, you know, my starseed tribe. Like somebody once said that, oh, well, if there's no one around you, that you create it, you know, because Leo is about self-validation. And I'm sure we're going to talk about it next time, about the Leo new moon, if there is one, you know, but it's about self-validation. You don't wait for someone else to tell you what you can and can't be. You become that, and then the right people will be attracted to you. Because usually what we do, we externalize our power because we want the other people to confirm or validate or to tell us, yeah, you're good at this, go and do it. But usually we find that people don't do that. They don't see us, or if they do, then you know, we feel like disempowered because we owe them something or something. So this is also part of that energy, that if it's not there, you create it yourself, or you just become it. You become it, and then that's how you're gonna create it, and that's how you're going to attract it, because you attract what you are, what you become.
That's so funny, because as you were saying that, of course, I'm seeing this nourishment card, because it's like when you are nourishing yourself, and again, if we're in our garden and we're growing those things abundantly, we're putting our energy into that, then all of a sudden there's the abundance of the harvest to share. Now we have enough to share because I started here and I grew all of that. I'm focusing on my garden, I'm nourishing myself, I'm bringing all that forward. So now I have this harvest to share with all. And also, I don't need you to validate me, because to each their own. And I recognize that I'm shining my light, and you may not get that, or you might not like any of what I have here to offer from my garden, and that's okay. You know, like, so there's this energy of just being at peace with, I don't need you to be happy for me to be happy, because that was sort of that mentality, which is where things like the people pleasing and those types of things can come from as well. Yeah, that's really, really cool. I love how that's also connected.
And how I always say to my client that you live in your life, you know, you don't live your life for someone else. You know, I mean, if people do, then usually that, you know, there is something not quite clean going on. But like we were not born here. We were not born onto this planet. We didn't choose to have this experience to live our life by other people's standards, or by other people's rules, or by other people's expectations. Like, yes, we are all here to serve each other, and we're all part of the one, we all connected, absolutely, but we are all, each and every single one of us is a unique expression of the source. Like, otherwise there wouldn't be need for 8 billion people out there if we were all copy paste of each other. And the universe wants to expand, so it's like, you just be you, you know, you just be you. And that's why on the back of my business card, I just want to read this. I have the quote from Dane Rudyard, where, you know, when you don't follow your nature, there is a hole in the universe where you were supposed to be. And that's exactly what this is about. You are you, and you are exactly what you're supposed to be, like what universe wants you to be, because you have the seed within you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I want to share so bad. I have some coming up for the empowerment pack, the channeled words, but I can't yet. So maybe I'll share it with the new moon. We'll talk about it then, because it's so on point with what you just said. So on point. But it does have to do with like not hiding your light and not playing small. Shine, like let it out and allow it to be its own unique expression, because it all has a part. We all play a role for sure. So wow.
Exactly. And that's another analogy I used since I started, you know, making public videos, that imagine it's like a big piece of puzzle, and we all have a unique piece to fit. There are not two pieces that are the same. They could be similar, but they are not the same. So when people think like, oh, what do I have to offer? I have nothing to offer, la, 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 trying to, again, play small, you know, with the, like my ex-boyfriend used to say to me that, okay, you know, there is no need for that much humbleness. Like, it's good to be humble, but, you know, like, just cut it already, you know, like, you don't have to go to extreme, because actually, you know, like, it's like I know you said it in the past video, it's so easy for us to sing the odas for other people, to put all, you know, like to put other people's needs first, or like, you know, to beep their horn, you know, like, yeah, you are amazing, you're doing so well, but we don't do it for ourselves. And actually that's where we need to start. So yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. All right. So let's see. Should we just do our final, like, what to know, to do, and be with this, all this moon talk and all this energy coming in? Just 3 cards. I'll take these out. We've seen these, but that's beautiful. I love that.
Just perfect. It's exactly
yeah,
it's exactly the energy, and it's so always like, you know, it's just so mind-blowing. Like,
I know it
this
never
kind
gets
of
old.
work. No.
I know. All right, let's see. To know. Okay, 7. Planning 7. Okay.
Didn't this card came last time? I have a feeling we've seen it last time because the 2 pillars, I remember.
We definitely got this card before. It was either last time or, yeah, because we used this deck the first time. Yeah.
The first time, yeah, because last time we talked about the heart.
Yep. So like to do, so what is that? The yang energy here, to do. Look at all these paths. It is the Wheel of Fortune, Destiny, 10.
And it looks just like these multi-dimensional aspects of ourselves, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And again, it reminds me of this dial. I don't know what it's called, but like the thing that you set, you know, where you're going. I just keep seeing it in my mind's eye, but I don't know what it's called. So then let's bring in the yin, to be, to receive, to just be. Oh, yes.
3 of Cups.
3 of Cups, right? Rejoice and celebration. So in all things, rejoice and celebrate, right? So that's to be, is celebratory and rejoicing and being in our joy. But wow, so to know is again 7 of Pentacles, and it's called patience and planning. So the R's and the P's, we know we're going into August with this retrograde energy of going back over, because we're balancing it out. These pillars are like what we talked about, the tower. We talked about, you know, the foundations and the things that, you know, it's almost like if those 2 pieces are like, you know, the pillars that are holding it up, or even like chess pieces, you know, like really contemplating my move and where to next, and using a degree of strategy or you know, really feeling into the plan, which I guess would then get us into Virgo energy at the end of the month, of like making those plans and then taking those steps. But first is the patience and the balancing and the calibrating of everything there, to know, right?
Yeah, and just looking at the 2 pillars, it looks to me so much like Gemini sign, you know, the Gemini, the symbol astrological, but also the Pisces, you know, is the two worlds, the multiple options, and there is like, it already exists, you know, on the other side, it already exists. If you can think it, if you can visualize it, the fact that you desire it, it already exists. It's just this time in between, you know, between the manifestation into the physical. So that's like, looking at this card is exactly what it's showing to me. Like, it's already there. Just hold on. Just, you know, just keep wanting that. Don't cancel the order with the universe. And then the Pisces, it's going to bring it to you, you know, with this visualization and spirituality and, you know, the manifestation. So this is so perfect.
I also am getting a most obscure movie reference. So I don't know if you're going to get this, Mila, but I'm just going to put it out there because I just literally saw this the other day on a t-shirt. A movie from the 80s that's called The Never Ending Story.
Yeah.
So Never Ending Story, when Atreyu has to pass between the 2 sphinxes.
The Sphinx, yes, and they shoot the lasers with their eyes.
Yes. Perfect. Yes. So I'm feeling, what does he have to be? His most authentic self, because they know when you're faking it. They know when you're not coming from a pure place, right? So that part always scared me when I was a kid, because their eyes were like slowly opening and then like shooting the lasers, you know? But I'm literally feeling, because of course the Chariot has the 2 sphinx. It has the light and the dark. You know, these 2 aspects. And I literally just saw this the other day. It was a t-shirt and it had like some clever saying, and it had a picture of him walking through the 2 sphinx, which is about being you, be authentic, stand in your sovereignty, because the time is now, like, you know, really feeling into this sense of like, what are we anchoring and planting ourselves into? And Pisces too, when you said that, it just clicked for me because I was thinking of the two aspects, you know, and this, and again, we're doing that here with the yin and the yang, to do and to be. What do we need to know? Be you. Just be you. Be your most authentic self. Come from a truly heart-centered place, because that is where your light shines. I mean, that's what that's saying to me. I love that. And I love that you know that movie.
Yeah, never. I
always
used to watch it when I was
comparing,
a
like,
kid.
you're like, yeah, I know that movie.
We
I
used
don't
to
know,
watch
there's
it
a
a
lot of
lot.
movies. Yeah. All right, so let's see. So we have to do, and that is destiny, this energy of destiny, the wheel of fortune coming up, the wheel turns, and yeah, all these different aspects of ourself, and you see how they sort of like fade out, like they've all played a role, they've all had a time and a season in our life, these identities that we've held, these things that we valued at a time, or what, however it's showing up for us, the things that we are forgiving and transmuting, you know, the dial turns and the seasons change, and we shift into these different aspects until finally we're sort of like clicked into that most authentic version of us, you know. And of course, the 10 energy that we've been talking about is all about, you know, these endings and these new beginnings, this wholeness coming into completion. And again, I honor every one of those versions of myself, because they all played a role in getting me to where I am now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, what's crazy, that the 2026 year, which is the number 10, you know, when the planets are going to shift, you know, Neptune is going to go into Aries, Saturn is going to go into Aries, Uranus is going to go to Gemini, Chiron is going to go into Taurus. This is a big year. The 2026 is a big year. And what is the next big year? When Pluto will exit Aquarius, 2044. Again, 10, 4 and 4 and 2. And 2026, 2 and 2 and 6 is the 2 10s. So we know that this period of time during Pluto transiting through the sign of Aquarius, this is the destiny. This is the evolution. That's what I mean. There is no more hiding. When Pluto is squaring the nodes, there is no more hiding. We cannot go and ignore it and brush it under the carpet and go, yeah, this doesn't apply to me. I'm just going to go and live on a deserted island. We are all part of this. We are all on planet Earth. We're all on the same boat. So with your dial, we're all on the same boat, and there is no escaping it. So I feel that, you know, this being literally like, isn't that like the only major arcana we had during the entire reading? And it's the number 10, is the Wheel of Fortune, which is,
Yeah.
you know, the ending and new beginning. And we know what that means to us right now.
Yeah. And it's like, I see the bookends too, like that, like what you just described. And that's amazing with how that lined up there with the 10 years, 10 and 10 as these bookends. And even just, again, just here, right here and now, we talked about these full moons bookending this month. You know, there's just this, again, no one's passing through without being your most authentic self. And of course, it's with you all along, all of these aspects of yourself that have all been a part of bringing you into wholeness and completion. So, wow. Beautiful. And so finally, to be, we're rejoicing, we're celebrating with tribe and with, you know, good reason, because there's so many blessings. Our cups are full, and there's this coming together and bringing together, you know, I think both times we talked a little bit about the tables that we're sitting at and looking around and seeing, you know, again, who's in the car with us, who's at the table, you know, and again, sending out that signal, Care Bear style, to bring in all of those people that we are connecting with and communing with. And there's gratitude in that as well. So be grateful and joyful and celebrating and bringing that all together. And 3, of course, is the number of creation, the number of coming together. And again, we bring all of our unique everything to the table. So whether it's the seasonings we're putting in the pot, if it's our unique perspectives, our experiences, whatever they are, coming together to bring this beautiful blessing forward. I love it.
And I'm just laughing because, you know, this is a personal story Marisa is aware of, but I just changed the accommodation that I'm going to be staying at when I go and visit England, and I just gone into I changed my booking, and the room I'll be staying in is number 3.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. So that
number 3. So I'm just like literally like chuckling here, like, what the hell?
Yeah, I know. We can't get away from it. It's everywhere, all these synchronicities and validations. And that's the thing too, like the more that you attune yourself to it, the more you will get that clarity. And it's your own unique language too. So like, you know, whether you get the big map out and you're looking at it from that huge, you know, grand perspective, or you're here looking at it in small ways and big ways, it's so cool how it all just builds off of each other and brings forward so much synchronicity.
Yeah, so guys, this is the full moon in Aquarius, and a little bit of information for the new moon in Leo and full moon in Pisces, because it is all in 1 month, so it's all coming together. So we're just going to wrap this up, but I just want to say that Marisa has a lot of things to offer. So I would like to give you this space to present your offerings.
Oh, thank you. Well, yes, I may have mentioned that it's my birthday month coming up. I don't know if I said that, but no, I know I did. Because it's also the 3-year anniversary of Grow in the Flow. And so I do have some things going on in the way of the Empowerment Pack is kicking off for August. So that's where we work together for the whole month, starting with a month ahead reading, which is looking at your beginning, middle, end of the month. We bring in all kinds of altar elements and things to help support you. Then we're actually going to have bonus this month because of the extra moon, full moon, new moon, and full moon readings and energies all throughout. So that's like the big offer, because I'm also going to be doing a giveaway for the anniversary birthday celebration, and also still have the Chiron retrograde reading available too, that actually you just shared for me yesterday. Thank you so much. So yeah, it's all in my links and on my website. So I would love to connect with anyone that feels so called.
That's
Thank you.
awesome. And I'm going to put all the links into description, so you can guys reach out and find Marisa. And I would recommend to find her, because I have been having the pleasure of receiving these services for a few months now, and it's been very supportive, because as I say, astrology is kind of, we have to wait for how it's going to turn up and how it's going to manifest, but the tarot gives you an immediate answer. So if you have any pressing questions and anything that you would like a resolution to right now, whether it's about your service, whether it's about your business, because Marisa has a business reading, whether it's about your ancestor healing and inner child healing, or any other spreads you might want to dive into, and of course the empowerment pack, I highly recommend it. There are so many services, and the Chiron retrograde, if you would like to know what is coming back for healing when it comes to this old wounding. So we will put all the links below, and you know me, Moonlight Soul, you can find me everywhere. I don't have a website yet, but there is everything on my Linktree and also social media. So if you want to contact me, just reach out and we can chat.
Yes, and I highly recommend that, because I family and friends have all had amazing readings with Mila, and especially if it happens to be your birthday anytime soon, she has a really cool solar return reading as well. So definitely check her out as well. Yeah.
Thank you. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you, Marisa. Always a pleasure. I'm so grateful for this collaboration, and yeah, we'll see you again soon.
Awesome. All right, everybody, go forth and shine. Have an amazing month, and we'll talk soon.
Bye, everyone.